All right, everyone, welcome back into the page. My name is Nolan, former basketball player, and for today's video, I've got some exciting NBA trades that I would like to see happen. Starting with number one, the big trade that everyone's talking about, Giannis from the Bucks. Where will he go? And I saw an interesting video from Brian Windhorst, who covers the NBA for ESPN. Insider, he's connected with everyone. And he says that the Spurs are the top landing spot for Giannis as of now. And I agree with this. I kind of like this. So I've got a bit of a bold trade here. See, maybe the Bucks fans won't like this, but hear me out. I think this could, benefit all sides, but maybe not. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, so it starts out with Giannis, of course, going to the Spurs. You get another franchise guy to pair with Wemby and Castle and Fox. This is a potent lineup. This looks pretty good for them on paper. You got one of the best players, an up-and-coming superstar in Wemby. Castle, I think, was Rookie of the Year. And Fox has proven to be a dynamic point guard. So this seems like a good move for the Spurs, with Popovich gone. Get a guy like Giannis to lead the team and show him how to win. And you just got to get Wemby in the playoffs. It's got to be the goal for the Spurs. Get Wemby in the playoffs. The game changes a lot in the playoffs, as you can see this year in the NBA. So I think it would be a good move for the Spurs. Now, who would they give up? They would give up the second pick in the draft. I think everyone thinks it's going to be Harper. He's a point guard, a big point guard that everyone's really high on, someone that the Bucks can build around. And then I've also got them giving up Keldon Johnson and Vassell, two solid role-playing guys on decent contracts. These could be flipped. The Bucks could use these, but these are good players to help you try and win. Now, the part that might throw everyone for a loop, I say let's bring a third team in here, the Suns, and send Brad Beal from the Suns to Milwaukee. That's right. So you get the second overall pick. Harper, I believe, is going to be the pick. He's a point guard. You get Brad Beal, you get Keldon Johnson, and you get Devin Vassell. And if you're the Bucks, you say that's something to build around. A star young guy, second pick in the upcoming draft to build around. But then you get Brad Beal, a leader. People are down on him, but I think definitely somebody that can help you try to make the playoffs. Because as you can see with the new lottery, if you just got a bunch of picks and swaps from teams, you really don't know. It could be the 6th pick, it could be the 1st pick, it could be the 8th pick. So why not get a young guy, the 2nd pick in the draft, and then get some guys to go around them and try to make the playoffs? Because if you're a small market team, you got to keep trying to make the playoffs. So with that being said, for the money to work, you then got to send Dame to Phoenix. You take Brad Beal, you take Vassell, you take Johnson, you take the 2nd overall pick, you give up Giannis, and you give up Dame, and you just kind of restart, get some smaller contracts, a little more flexibility, a young guy that you like. I know you got Brad Beal's huge contracts, but take a swing at him. Why not? This was an all-star. This is a guy that you believe in. He's still semi-young. I know he's in his 30s, but guys can get better, and I think take a swing. Why not if you're the Bucks and you're going to trade Giannis? Send him to the Spurs. Send Dame to the Suns. The Suns have been wanting to get rid of Beal, so maybe even though Dame's going to be out for most of next year, they'll say, hey, we like Dame better. We'll give you Brad Beal. You can have him. And maybe all sides agree on this trade? Question mark. I don't know. I kind of like it, but I can understand some people are saying why would the Bucks take Beal? Why would the Suns take Dame? And on ESPN, they've actually got the Spurs being the worst, having the worst outcome from this trade, which I can't really see because they get Giannis. But now let's get into the second trade, a Lakers trade that I want to see happen. What's everyone talking about for the Lakers? You got to pair them with a center. You got to get Luka a center. Luka and LeBron need a center. They couldn't play a center. So a trade that no one's talking about, they're all talking about Clint Capella or, whatever the other options are at center. Why don't you call Toronto and try to get Jakob Poeltl? I think it could happen. A European big to pair with Luka. They're both Euro guys. Jakob Poeltl's from Austria. Luka's from Slovenia. Maybe they bond about being white and European or whatever. I know Poeltl is not a huge lob threat, but he is a good shot blocker, 7'1", 250, brings some size. But I think would also play well with Luka, would figure out where he's going. They'd have good chemistry. He's got pretty good touch. He doesn't shoot it from the outside at all. I get that, but then you could maybe keep even Jackson Hayes as your backup big. But anyway, the trade would be you get Jakob Poeltl and Grady Dick from Toronto, and you give up Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton Connect. And maybe Toronto would also say you got to include some draft pick in that. I think they probably would, unless they're super high on Dalton Connect. I don't know why they'd give up Grady Dick and Jakob Poeltl for Gabe Vincent, Kleber, and Connect, unless they are super high on Connect, who I think did show some flashes there. He's 6'6" or 6'7", whatever he is. He's athletic. Maybe they just say Grady Dick can't defend, and so we'd rather have Connect. Maybe you got to throw in some draft capital, but either way, I think it's a move that the Lakers got to call Toronto about and say, we want Jakob Poeltl. Let's try and get a framework for this. Let's try and make it happen. And the best part about this for the Lakers, I think, you don't give up Hachimura. You don't give up Austin Reeves. You get your center. And you can have a lot more flexibility with your lineup. I think at that point, you start LeBron at the 4, Poeltl at the 5. You start Reeves, you start Luka, and you start Finney-Smith. And if you want more defense, then you move Reeves to the bench and you bring in another defender. But I don't know, for me, I kind of like that. You got versatility. Then you got Grady Dick. He's not starting. He's coming off the bench. He doesn't have to defend that well. He's just trying to score. That's all the role that he has. I kind of like this one. I think the Lakers got to be calling Toronto and say, let's make a deal. Let's make something happen. Let's pair your European big with our European talent. They're going to work well together. Help us out. We'll give you a few good contracts and a young guy, Dalton Connect, and possibly a draft pick. Let's make it happen. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. You like these moves, not like these moves, who's losing, who's winning in these deals.